What is going on, guys? So YouTube's probably going to censor this video because I'm about to go against their politically correct narrative, but women and minorities are not the only people that face problems in society. Men do face problems as well. Take a look at this next clip. You'll figure out what I'm talking about. I'll see you guys in the next video.
It was James in Smithtown, New York. He emailed Dr. Marisi and he shared it with me and gave me permission to share it with you. I just saw your piece on Fox Business News and want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for speaking about the plight of men in our country. I've worked as a waiter for 5 years, and as a low barrier to entry job, I've encountered a seemingly endless stream of unhappy 18 to 30-year-old men in hopeless or nearly hopeless economic situations. Also, there have been 4 suicides of young men in my circle of acquaintance here in Smithtown/Stony Brook, New York. Our viewer, of course, pointing out an example of some of these disturbing trends that include overdoses from poisoning, which now, believe it or not, are the leading cause of deaths. We're talking these accidental deaths surpassing motor vehicles, 2014. It's way up from the last year. In the meantime, white men have made up 83% of suicides, and males, those numbers are going through the roof. Overall, what's this? What's causing this demise? Is it just the job market? Joining me now to discuss, Kirsten Haglund, Gianna Caldwell, Gina Loudon, and Christopher Bedford. Gianna, let me start with you. You're a young millennial. The unemployment rate for your age group is tremendously high. Everyone has dropped out. The participation rate is near air spring lows. What's going on?
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, since the recession, we've seen a decline in individuals' mental health. We've seen that. We saw that there was a report that came out in May by the Labor Department showing that there was only 25,000 jobs added to the rolls. And we see through our politics that the economy is the #1 area of concern by Americans. I believe the reason for the accidental deaths through prescription abuse and others is simply put the economy. And we haven't seen much more of a rebound under President Obama because we know that the jobs that have been added to the economy have been low-wage, minimum-wage jobs. And we see that through millennials, especially in their participation, that they're not able to get a job in the field in which they have a degree. They have to take a job as a Walmart greeter or another low-wage job. So I'm beginning to see that trend. I've seen that trend myself, and I think it's something that may continue until we see somebody like a President Trump.
Gina, there have been tough times though in the past, and this has got to be something more. The suicide rates going through the roof. It's got to be something about not having faith in the future.
Charles, I hate to say this, but after I did your segment last night about this exact topic, I also got more mail than I've ever gotten from any hit that I've ever done, because I think there are so many people who are experiencing this and seeing it in their own lives. You're right. The suicide rates are up 40% among white men. Also, they are #1 to die of alcohol or opiate abuse. Prescription drug use is through the roof. And this is the numbing, but you're absolutely, you just nailed it, Charles, when you said there has to be something more than the economy. The economy is a sad partner of a cultural emasculation that has taken place. When we are constantly harping on men as if they're the problem in our society, we shouldn't be surprised when they don't understand the role. A guy can't even open a door for a woman anymore and know if he's going to get yelled at, Charles. That is the sickening partner of this horrible economy that has impacted what were traditionally providers of our economy. So it's a very sad state.
Kirsten, what do you make of it?
Well, I think that people are very broken. And yes, it has something to do with the economy, but a feeling of hopelessness and despair, that there are so many things out of their control, not only the job market, but also their children's futures, being able to pay for college, being able to get a job. Families are broken apart increasingly, and so there's no support system if someone does feel hopeless. And we need to care for each other as human beings, whether you're a man or a woman, but especially men. Women often are like, okay, we're the sensitive ones. We need the moral support. Our husbands, our brothers, our fathers need the moral encouragement and support as well, and the openness to say, if they are struggling with something, to say it's okay to come out and say you're struggling with something, you need some help and support, and that way people around you can gather. As a community, as Americans, we have to take care of one another.
And you mentioned also this is particularly with the vets who have very high suicide rates.
22 vets a day commit suicide, and that's not just the young ones coming back from war now. It's a lot of Vietnam War vets, and that's this middle-aged population.
Christopher, this has become an election year issue. Donald Trump talked about his epiphany, if you will, going through the state of New Hampshire. I interviewed Senator Rob Portman yesterday. He's taken a big position on this because it's an American epidemic, isn't it?
See, conservatives for years have really understood the effect that being dependent on the government has on families and individuals, and how that breaks the spirit and makes a man very unhappy, and it leads to crime and all these problems. But when the economy and technology and outsourcing have ripped jobs and completely destroyed communities, conservative economists often call that creative destruction. What it really is the end of a whole community and the separation of the bonds which hold us together. That can't be replaced with a lower tax rate. That can't be replaced by a Walmart. And this sadness and desolation that comes in leads to drugs. The opioids which were prescribed for decades, now it's being replaced by heroin. And it's wrecking places that I grew up.
Yeah, we got to figure it out, guys. I appreciate everyone's thoughts on that.
If they smoke, I'm turned off. If they drink, I'm out of there. If they're stupid, I'm bored. If they're mean, I'm bored. If they're trying to use me, I'm out of there. So I guess I'm very picky. If they don't work out, I'm not interested. If the mind is lazy and the body's lazy, who cares?